Hi, I'm Larry Richardson, your step-by-step chef. In this episode, we are going to make an absolutely delicious meat dish. It's barbecued Chinese pork, and it tastes just like the best barbecued Chinese pork that you get in actual Chinese restaurants. It's a great standalone dish, but it also can be chopped up and used in fried rice, in broccoli stir fry, in egg foo young, or just about anything that calls for a delicious barbecued pork. So come on, let's cook. And here are the ingredients for our Chinese barbecue pork. We have 2.5 to 3 pounds of pork loin rib chops, and you might be able to find another pork that you can use for this, at one of your local stores, but you're looking for something that has that kind of pork choppy consistency, and the thickness helps too because we're going to cut this into strips, and they have to stand up to some grilling. We're also going to use a 1/2 cup of light brown sugar, 2 teaspoons of salt, 1 teaspoon of 5-spice Chinese powder, 3 tablespoons of sweet rice cooking wine, 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, 2 tablespoons of honey, 4 cloves of garlic, which we're going to crush or you can finely mince, 1 inch of fresh ginger, which we're either going to really finely mince, or you can even grate that if you want, and 1 teaspoon of onion powder. And that's going to be our marinade, and it makes this absolutely delicious sauce. So let me show you how to put this together. So I put the pork in the fridge so it stays nice and chilled while we prepare the marinade. So first of all, we want to add our 1/2 cup of light brown sugar into this bowl. There we go. And this is not a really lumpy sugar, so I'm not worried about it balling up into these really crispy pieces. Next we have our 2 teaspoons of salt. There we go. We have our 1 teaspoon of 5-spice Chinese powder. Here come our 3 tablespoons of sweet rice cooking wine. Our 3 tablespoons of soy sauce, our 2 tablespoons of honey, this already smells quite delicious, by the way. It smells exactly like the great Chinese ribs that you'll get in a good Chinese restaurant. It smells just like that sauce. And we still have a lot of ingredients to add. Honey's kind of sticky, of course. Now let's crush or mince our garlic cloves, in this case I'm crushing them, into the mix. You can also just finely mince it, that's fine by me. Yum. And now we'll prepare our ginger. And this is kind of a thick piece of ginger, but I actually like ginger, so a little extra is not going to hurt me. So I'm just taking off the ginger skin. And then I'm just cutting off the dry little end that was there. Now if you have a tiny grater, you can grate an inch off of this. And, you know, the graters with the little holes, and that's fine. With this, I don't mind it having a little bit of a presence, so I just like to cut it like this, and then we'll mince it. So I'm cutting it very, very thin, just even beyond paper thin almost. I'm not sure that's quite possible. But this is just magnificent. I wish you could smell this aroma already. And this is a sauce that you can use on the pork, but you can also use it on chicken, a marinade on chicken. I mean, heck, you could probably use it on salmon and it would taste good. It's just it's kind of a little bit more viscous and viscous and complex than a teriyaki sauce, but it is yummy. And I think after you try it on the pork, you're going to start thinking, boy, what else can I put this on? And like I said, even pork ribs this would taste good on. So now I'm just giving it a mince. Ginger is just so delicious. What a magnificent gift from nature ginger is. Oh, is it good. And then you just turn it. Oops, just had my crusher in the way. Just turn it and just keep on giving it little minces. And, you know, finding a little piece of ginger in your Chinese food, in this barbecue sauce, it's actually kind of a rewarding surprise. It just has a certain zing to it. And if you can't get fresh ginger, you can use some powdered ginger. And I would just add, powdered ginger is pretty potent, I would just add a 1/4 teaspoon. And then to give the sauce a little taste and see if you can taste the ginger in it. And if you can't, then just add a little bit more. But don't go overboard because, again, it's pretty potent and you don't want it to really take over this barbecue sauce. Just putting that right into the bowl. Yum. And the last thing I'm going to add is our teaspoon of onion powder. And use onion powder, not onion salt, because we already added salt to this and soy sauce. So if you add onion salt, it's just gonna become way too salty. And then we'll just stir all of this in. And you can see it's a nice, thick sauce. Wow, look at that. And you know, you can even take another clean spoon and give it a little bit of a taste. And then you can decide, does it need something else? Is there something you'd like to add more of to your taste? This is being made to my taste. In fact, I'm going to do that right now. That is rich and superb. And now, what we're going to do is use this as a marinade. Ideally, you made the marinade a night ahead of when you're going to cook it, and the pork can just soak in it overnight. If you don't have that kind of time, or you're getting started a little bit late on this recipe, then 3 to 4 hours of marinating is fine too, because you're going to have some extra sauce that you can throw back onto the pork in the process that will just add plenty of flavor. Plus we're slicing the pork too, so it's going to get all over the pork. So that is one tasty sauce. So now I'm going to get the pork and we're going to slice that, pour this on it, put it into a container, and start the marination process. And here's our pork. And what we're going to do, and you can see this is very thick, is we're going to cut it into inch-thick slices. Just like this. And the reason I'm cutting it big like this is that I don't want it to fall through the grates on my grill. And I want it to get nice and grilled through. Now, this is very similar to I have to trim off a little fat, you can see. Very similar to the pork that you'd get in a Chinese restaurant. And the main thing that's missing is red food coloring. Some people will use a red food coloring in this just to make it look more like the restaurants that they're used to. And I guess if you have a purist in your family, you might want to get some red food coloring and just add some until it gets a redder color to it. But honestly, I think we should all be beyond that whole food coloring thing, because the food itself will present just fine grilled, trust me after you see it, And it just tastes delicious. So I don't think really the dye, I mean, it doesn't do anything for me. But if you really feel strongly about that, you can, yes, add red food coloring. And I'm just giving this a very light trim because the grill will take care of some of this fat too. So again, nice 1-inch thick strips. That marinade is really going to soak into this. And with this barbecued pork, the other point I want to make is I'm going to grill it. I'm going to show you tomorrow how I grill it. Some people will make it right in the oven. If you don't have a grill, you can still make this dish. And I'll explain it in the written recipe how to grill it. And the written recipe will be on stepbystepchef.com. And eventually, if not already, in a version of my cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef. So there's our meat all chopped up. Let me just rinse my hands. Let's just pour our barbecue sauce, our Chinese barbecue sauce marinade right on there. Wow, that is just delicious. That aroma. I want to make another bowl of it and just sit and drink it, but I know that won't end well. So here we go. Just stir it in. Make sure all of the pork is covered. And then whenever you think of it, like this is going to be in my refrigerator overnight, and I'm not going to grill it until tomorrow afternoon. So whenever I'm thinking about it, whenever I'm looking in the fridge, just give it a quick stir. Okay, so that's heading into the fridge, and I'll see you tomorrow. And here's the moment we've all been waiting for. We're going to take a look at our Chinese barbecued pork, which has been marinating overnight. So let's see what we have. And I have turned this occasionally. Oh boy, yeah, look at that. The marinade worked right into it. The pieces practically look like they're crispy with it. So what we're going to do is take these slices out to the grill. And I'm also putting on stepbystepchef.com with this recipe the way you can prepare it either on the stove or in your oven. But since I do have a barbecue handy, and it is a barbecue kind of afternoon, I'm going to run this out there and bring you along, and let's go do some barbecuing. Okay, so here we are. We're outdoors, we're out at the grill, and this is a community grill. So when you see how kind of dirty it is inside, please don't write to me and say, "Dear Step by Step, clean that grill, dude." I just did the best I could. But what we have out here with us is we have our pork. We have a spoon to put some of that sauce onto the pork as it grills, and I have a spatula and a mitt in case things get out of control. I also have a clean plate under there that we're going to put the meat on after it cooks. Never put the meat back on the dirty plate that you just used. And here we have our grill, and it is preheated at 400 degrees. So it's ready. It's ready for me to put the meat inside. Now these pieces are really thin, so it's not going to take me that long to grill these. And again, you can see how well these have marinated. Just perfect. This is going to be some Chinese barbecue pork. And I didn't show you how to operate the grill because honestly, every type of grill is a little bit different. The manufacturer instructions are different, and that's what you need to read to safely operate your grill. And make sure to read that too. Read the operating instructions. You don't want to get hurt using a grill. One of the biggest mistakes people make is they'll turn the gas on, they'll close the lid, and then they'll try to light it. And when they try to light it, boom. You know, all the gas builds up and it'll just go boom. So there's our meat all lined up, and we're going to close the cover. And I'm going to close it for 5 minutes and then flip the pork. So here we are 5 minutes later, and the grill is really rocking. So you can see the meat's browning nicely. Perfect. Look at that color. That is grilled meat. And like I said before, this is not going to take long because we're up around 400, 500 degrees now, and these are very thin slices. I'm going to put the pieces close together. And then let's spoon some of our marinade on them. And then what I'm going to do is just flip them over briefly one more time after the next 5 minutes. This is almost like caramelized barbecue sauce. It's just going to be so delicious. And again, if you want to color it red, we talked about that last night. If you want to color it red, go ahead. But honestly, I think we can get over that it's not red. The flavor is magnificent. And wait till you see what I'm going to put these, what I'm going to put this pork into. This isn't just meat that we're going to eat on its own. We're going to put it in some recipes. And you will find those recipes on stepbystepchef.com. And 5 minutes later, let's go check on our barbecued Chinese pork. So here we go. Let's see, the grill is up at just over 450. Oh, those pieces are looking so good. And now, like I told you before, I just want to give it a quick flip, just to caramelize the last of the marinade that I put on it, the barbecue sauce. Quick flip, gonna close it for a minute, and then it's done. And I just want to point something out. This end of the grill is a little hotter, so I may have to cook the ones at this end for just another minute or two after I close the hood. So I think I'm actually going to take these out right now. So we have to be a little flexible when we're cooking this. So I have my clean plate all at the ready. Again, never put the stuff that you cook back on the plate that you brought it out in. Very unhygienic, and if you get caught doing it, you're going to tick off a lot of people. Actually going to take these pieces and move them down to this hotter end. And now we'll just close the cover for a couple of minutes. And 2 minutes later, let's take a look. That pork is what they call done. So let's scoop it off there. Now, if you're doubtful at all whether or not the pork is grilled through all the way, take a piece of it and just cut it in half. You shouldn't see any pink meat at all. This pork is done. Let's take it on inside. So congratulations. Look at what you just made. You just made this delicious Chinese barbecued pork. Now, you can just eat this on its own, you know, with a couple of sides, of course. You know, you can serve it at a cookout or something like that. It's going to vanish fast. What I like to do with this is have some stripped straight up. In fact, I think a couple of them are going to vanish in a couple of minutes. But I also like to chop it up and put in other recipes. I'm going to use this batch in some fried rice, some stir-fried broccoli, some egg foo young, which is one of my favorite dishes, and an omelet. I mean, I can get that much out of, 2.5 to 3 pounds of pork. Absolutely fantastic. And you will find those recipes and the recipe for this in printable form on stepbystepchef.com. There you're also going to find recipes, printable recipes, and video links, free video links for well over 100 delicious breakfast, lunch, and dinner dishes. I think you're really going to enjoy that site. The other thing you're going to find there is my cookbook, Cooking with the Step-by-Step Chef, which has an awful lot of the recipes already in it. So they're already right there. There is a link on my site so you can purchase it from Amazon.com. So my name's Larry Richardson. I am your Step-by-Step Chef, and I'll see you in the next episode. You gotta try this one.